and welcome to Wine, Women, and Wisdom.
Hello, everybody. I'm Liam Watkins. I'm your food editor. Today, we are going to be talking pairings. I'm here with Devin Parr and Justin Knight. And we have our sponsor, El Gringgo Hot Sauce. Let's get started because I am super excited to see how we can pair hot sauces with wines. I don't know if that's ever been done before. I know we got like chutneys, sweet stuff, maybe a little spicy, but let's see it. We're going to gradually climb from a real mild roasted jalapeno, a blackberry jalapeno, which is a medium, and the spiciest is the pineapple habanero. So what should I know? Or how do we get started with a pairing? What do you do with pairings in food? Is there a proper way to go about it? Are there perfect foods for perfect wines? Where do we start?
I need to say that generally speaking, hot sauce and wine is like brutal. It's really tough to pair. But I typically take two approaches. Mm-hmm. One is you can go like with like. So say a sweet wine with a chocolate or a dessert, mm-hmm. Or a wine from Spain with some Spanish food, or you can go opposites. So something sweet and salty, something spicy and sweet, something salty and fresh and acidic. Mm-hmm. Either approach typically works. Okay. So I'm curious to see what goes on with the hot sauce.
Yeah, I know. Justin brought out a sweeter wine, right, for the spicy?
For the real spicy one. So the way I like to do it is I like to actually taste the wine that I'm trying to pair with the actual food in mind. Mm-hmm. In other words, I have an idea, but the idea doesn't always translate well in practice.
Right.
So for this, we chose the Verdelho. This is the lightest spice that we have on the table.
Right.
This one's a little bit more robust. We chose the Syrah. And for the hottest one we have here is a sweet muscat.
Okay. So, I got to ask, why the sweet with the spicy? Is it to offset the spiciness?
Yes, so as Devin said, it's the opposite effect. Okay. So that one, you'll have a little bit of heat on the tongue, but the coolness and the actual sugar in the wine itself will tame it down. And likewise, the heat will actually tame down the sugar in the wine itself. So you're really having a butted heads, but it's going to turn out really nice.
Okay. Yeah. And is there a proper way to taste and then do you taste, eat, and then taste, or do you taste, eat? Do you eat, taste? How does that go?
Yeah, so I don't think there's any real rule. Right. The sky's the limit. But what I like to do is I like to try the wine, try the food, and then try the wine, because what you're doing is you're setting a base, right? And when you come back to the wine itself, that's when the magic really happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you say we get started?
Absolutely.
Let's try this one out.
Starving?
Yeah. Okay, we got a nice charcuterie board.
Perfect.
So let's each grab a cracker, a little cheese. So this is a brie cheese, blue cheese, Gouda. So whichever for a roasted jalapeno.
Yes,
it's mild, super mild, very flavorful.
And I'll pour the wine while you guys start that.
Perfect.
It's the green one.
The green one,
yeah,
that is. It's the
Let's do it.
The roasted jalapeno. It's called Mama's Blend, family-owned company, based in San Diego.
Perfect. So we have the Verdelho here.
This is a Verdelho.
It's actually quite mild.
Yes. So
I'm supposed to taste the wine first. I will.
Yeah. We're here. We're having a good time.
I'm gonna do wine taste, wine, food, wine.
I did the food, wine, food.
Yeah. So the reason I chose this for the most mild is because this is one of the most mild wines that we have on the menu. And this, would you say you kind of paired this hot sauce with like fish or something?
Yeah,
vegetables.
Fish, something with vegetables. It's great in a salad dressing. You can do something like apple cider vinegar, a little bit of that, salt, pepper, a little lemon as well. You could add lemon or apple cider vinegar.
Because this has a little bit of citrus to it, so that's the like with like right there. That'd be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Neither overwhelms the other. Yeah, that's a really nice, mild, almost like vegetal. There's like a green note to the hot sauce, which goes really nicely with the green note.
Do you taste the jalapenos? It's got that.
Yeah.
It's got a distinct taste to it where you can really taste jalapenos, but it's not spicy. It's perfect.
But there is a little bit of an aromatic quality to the Verdelho, which I think elevates the hot sauce nicely, like that piquant quality.
Yeah, I like that.
I love this wine so much. I love it. This is my kind of wine.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's really mild. It's I could probably finish a whole bottle.
But the bright acid, like that mouth-watering acid, is really, it's a perfect summertime wine.
Yeah, it's an elegant wine that you can kind of, it's a blank canvas. Do what you will with it, kind of thing,
Yeah. So you asked me about fish. Would that kind of wine go well with a light fish, like a tilapia or?
Yes, perfect. Like salmon, anything like that. Yeah.
So I want it with like fried calamari or shellfish.
Yeah, with a little bit of heat of the jalapeno on those. Yeah.
And I'm assuming like a red meat would go well with a red wine of some sort.
That's typically the go-to. Something that has more tannins, more robust. Some wines are screaming that they need to be paired with something, right? The fattiness of a red meat and the tannin level of something like the Syrah really pairs well together.
Okay, so we are done with the roasted jalapeno. We're going to move on to, it's a step up in spice, also a step up in flavor. It's a blackberry jalapeno. I'm not sure if, I've done some research. I'm not sure if there's another blackberry jalapeno on the market. This company was founded less than a year ago. It started off with a family who is very used to and grew up with the roasted jalapeno. And then there was a branch out of roasting fruits and peppers, pairing. Anyways, what we're doing here is we're going to pair the blackberry with, Justin, what is the blackberry good with?
We're going with the Syrah.
The Syrah.
Yes, so I envisioned the blackberry to be paired with some kind of red meat to really just elevate the flavor of both the hot sauce and the wine itself.
I see.
So one of these prosciutto would be perfect with this. So I'll go ahead and pour this up if you guys want to.
What is this one called again?
This is Syrah.
This is a Syrah, okay.
Yes. So it's a bolder wine, more tannins, a lot more structure than what we're used to here.
Right. So typically you would pair this with a red wine, I think.
Yes.
Or a red meat, excuse me.
Red meat.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, cheers. Yeah, so Syrah is actually one that Temecula Valley is known for. It's very Mediterranean style as far as temperature, climate, things like that.
Yep.
So Syrah does really well here. It's very similar to the Rhone in France.
What is the Rhone?
It's a wine growing region where Syrah is known. So so go ahead and try the wine.
It's really nice.
It has really nice blackberry notes.
Yes.
So
this is going to be perfect.
Yes, with like.
Oh!
A little spicy?
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's a stronger hot sauce than the last one.
All right, let's do this. Yeah, it's definitely a couple notches up as far as spice goes. But it's got a great flavor to it.
Remind me of the pepper that's in there.
It's a jalapeno.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's this same pepper. The difference between these two is the Mama's Blend, all the seeds are taken out. Whereas the blackberry jalapeno, the seeds are roasted with the rest of the jalapeno and then separately the blackberries.
Perfect.
So I love the acid in this wine because it cleanses the palate. So some of these meats are quite salty and fatty, and that acid really it's like that clean wash. It's really nice.
Perfect.
Cleanses the palate.
You get the hint of blackberry with the hint of blackberry. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's nice.
There's nothing better than wine and food. There's nothing better.
See, I'm a big believer that if you like what you're eating and you like what you're drinking, it's the perfect pairing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I know there's some terrible pairings, but generally, if you like what you're eating and you like
what would be an example of a terrible pairing?
You know, that's tough. Probably our next wine with a red meat. That would be pretty
because you want something a little bolder with the red meat, whereas this is going to be a
So what you're doing is you're accentuating the amount of sugar that's in that wine. It's already very sweet, and by pairing it with something like a salty, fatty red meat, you're just elevating that sugar level, which a lot of people don't particularly care for anyways. It's more of a dessert style wine itself, so it's notching it to the next level at that point.
I also feel like something really tannic with something really spicy is probably, yeah. So if this were a really tannic red wine, it might not go as well with the spiciness of the hot sauce.
Right.
Because it's going to accentuate the spice.
Yeah, because the tannins...
You're really going to feel it.
You're drying your mouth out at that point.
Yeah.
And then you're screaming after the next level of heat. But this is perfect.
Yeah. So do tans make your mouth more dry? Is that the purpose of it?
Yeah, I think it's worth talking about tannin and what that sensation is. That's the sensation of your mouth drying out. Like if you were to brew a super strong cup of black tea and put nothing in it, how your mouth dries a little bit?
Yeah. That's
tannin. It's not really a flavor, it's a sensation in your mouth.
Right.
So picture super hot with a super dry mouth. Awful.
Yeah, no, that's and that's why I'm excited to try this one, because it does have those sweet notes to it, and it's going to be I imagine a sweet, then spicy, and then it comes back to the sweet again.
Yeah,
rather than that dry mouth, and then you're just dying of the heat.
Exactly.
So awesome, that was great. I think that's a perfect wine for that. You said the blackberry notes, perfect with the blackberry jalapeno. Let's move on to the pineapple habanero. What do you say about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us a little bit about this wine. I know we talked a little bit about it, but...
So the wine itself, it's a Muscat Canelli. There's a number of different types of Muscat grape. It's its own varietal. It's typically done sweet. This one has 3% RS, which is very sweet. It's one that it's kind of an introduction into wine, in a way. A lot of our newer wine drinkers like sweet things, or they like bubbly things.
Yeah.
So it's a gateway wine, essentially.
A gateway wine.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of like would rosé also be considered a gateway wine?
So yes and no. There's a lot of different styles of rosé. There's a lot of sweet rosé, but more recently, the go-to is a dry Provence style rosé, which is also an area in France. Something that's very elegant, very light. You can eat food, or you can just drink the whole bottle. It's one of those things that's very versatile. So that's the go-to now.
It's a great food wine.
Great food wine, yeah.
It has sort of the body of a red, but the crisp quaffability of a white.
Yeah.
So I love rosé.
Yeah, elegance at its finest. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
many complex things going on there. So, but I think this pairing is going to blow your mind.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, so keep in mind, this is spicy. So I would say probably 3 to 5 notches up from this. Jalapenos, I'm not sure what the Scoville level is. It's maybe the...
I was going to say, isn't there like a scale?
There is,
hot?
and they go up into the several hundred millions of Scovilles. The hottest pepper in the world, I believe, is the scorpion pepper. And there's actually a new pepper. It's called Pepper X, and it just hasn't been
Of course
initiated.
it's called Pepper X.
Yeah, it hasn't been initiated into the Guinness Book of World Records, but it's going to be, so that'll be the hottest pepper.
Wow.
So everything will, I guess, be set a notch down. But this
So we're
is
not having X, right?
No, this
Like,
is
who volunteers to set that scale?
this crazy mad scientist did so, and so this is still up in the millions of Scovilles. Habaneros are up in the millions of Scoville. If you were to just eat a habanero, it would be uncomfortable.
Right.
But this is really nice because the pineapple really enhances the flavor of the habanero. So you have the spice, but you also have the flavor of the habanero.
Yeah. So what you're actually doing in your hot sauce itself is what we're going to do with this wine. You know, the pineapple. What it does is it brings a lot of fruit. It brings sugar, right, and a lot of acid. So what you're doing by yourself in the actual hot sauce, we're going to actually take the next step with this wine. You'll see.
Okay. Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Number 3. Let's get Canelli.
So I have to confess, I am generally speaking not a sweet wine fan.
You're not alone.
Same.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not alone. So this one we kind of wanted to go a little bit out of our comfort zone with this.
I'm already out of my comfort zone with the Pepper X. It's not Pepper X, but
No.
now that's in my head.
When that does come out, I will. There will be some sauces that have
Perfect.
Pepper X, and that'll be Great.
So what you're going to smell here is just overwhelmingly
Super
sweet.
aromatic.
Yeah.
Very aromatic. Muscat itself is very floral. It's very unique in that way. A lot of acid.
Yeah.
There's still some nice acid. I know I always talk about acid in wine. It's one of my favorite elements in wine because I think that's what makes it food friendly. That's what makes it crushable.
Absolutely.
You know, it just
It's very sweet.
and it lifts
Very
it.
sweet.
Yeah, it's sweet.
It's like a dessert wine almost.
Absolutely. So let's dig right in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Good luck, you guys.
Can I just do the hot sauce
Of
solo?
course, yeah.
It's this pink.
It,
Yes,
yeah,
that one right there.
This
Yeah.
one, okay. Wish me luck. Am I gonna die?
Good luck.
Yeah, that's
it definitely
that's
has
the
a
joke.
kick
That's
to it,
spicy.
yeah.
Woo!
And I want to see your reaction because the wine should just tone everything down between the sweet, the acid, the coolness,
Yeah.
the temperature.
I'm gonna go for the full effect. Some blue cheese, some prosciutto.
Okay,
There you go.
that does help, and I think because sometimes alcohol, when you have something spicy, it's that heat from the alcohol and the heat from the spice,
Yeah.
and you're just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
This is cooling. The
Yeah.
sweetness is sort of coating the mouth. Yeah. Oh, I feel better.
Yeah, it does. You know, it did it right.
You can have a glass of milk with the spice, or you can have a glass of wine, and I'd rather go with the wine.
100%.
And it's
Not
one of
bad.
those spicinesses, if that's a new word I just invented, spicinesses, where it's a climb,
But it
levels
plateaus.
out. Yep. And then it starts to come down. It's not
That
gonna
is delicious.
Thank you.
Delicious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
What do
good.
I want that on? I want it on eggs. Do I want it on eggs? A burrito?
Oh yeah.
Some wings.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good chicken wing.
I've definitely done wings with these.
That's perfect because just like Devin, I'm not a huge sweet wine drinker, but after you have that, the sweetness level is
Exactly. That's what I was
way
thinking.
lowered.
It doesn't taste like the wine you first
the
tasted.
perception.
Yeah. They each
Absolutely.
make each other better. Not that this wasn't something delicious to start with.
Well, and that's
Or
what
this.
you want, right? You want to pair things that are going to enhance what you're drinking and eating, both
Right.
at the same time.
Yeah.
And you know, wine is so subjective. It's the most subjective thing that I can think of. What someone else loves, 10 other people may not.
Yeah.
And what 10 other people swear by, you know, you're going to have the same crowd that says, no, that's not for me. So
I get that.
there's a wine for everyone in every situation. And I think hot sauce as well.
I think even with sweet wine, like while it's not my cup of tea, I think it does have its place in terms of food pairings. So there's a reason we love to pair sweet Riesling or sort of off-dry Gewürztraminer, Pinot Gris with spicy Indian food or spicy Thai food or sushi with that big blob of wasabi. I go crazy on the wasabi, by the way.
Too.
But
I have to.
yeah, they just seem to love each other, and this is such a great example of that heat.
I could see that do very well here as well.
Yeah.
Pinot Grigio, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is it similar in process between this and a Pinot Grigio? Because I know the taste is a lot different, but
The process, as far as the picking, the pressing, is very similar.
Do you stop the fermentation halfway
Yes.
to get okay?
Yes, so the way you get a sweet wine is you're arresting the actual fermentation itself. So the yeast in the wine wants to continue fermenting, right?
Yeah.
So a little chemistry lesson, the yeast is what makes alcohol. They consume the glucose, the fructose.
and excrete the alcohol.
And
The sugar.
exactly, it's a byproduct. So
Yeah.
there's a few. There's acid, there's alcohol, and there's energy in the form of heat. Those are the three main things. There's a few other minor things that go along with it, but in order to create a sweet wine, you need to stop the fermentation. So what we did here is we racked off all the yeast, we added SO2, and we chilled it, killing the yeast, leaving residual sugar.
I see.
Yeah.
That's very cool. And then something like
These are
two,
both very
you're
dry.
allowing the full fermentation process to
Correct,
take place.
You're right
And
on
then like a darker wine, is it fermenting for a lot longer? Or is it just it's just been around for a lot
Reds
longer?
in general ferment in about 2 to 3 weeks,
Wow.
depending on what you're doing. And with reds, you need the higher temperature in order to extract the color, the tannins, and things like that.
They sit
And-
on their skins
Right.
versus whites, which don't.
Right.
I mean,
So
some
that's-
do, but that's
Yeah,
some
so
geeky
that's how
wine
you
stuff.
get your color, is the skins, and then with the seeds, and that's where you get the majority of your tannins. But you need the heat in order to extract those. And more heat equates to faster fermentations.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like alchemy.
The interesting thing also about, I think, a sweet wine here is that they're usually lower in alcohol because you've stopped that fermentation. So it's kind of...
The longer the fermentation, the more alcohol.
Typically.
If you've converted all the sugars in the grape, then it's going to do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, this was an awesome experience. I think all of these wines paired very well with the hot sauces. I mean, we're going to have to do this again as more hot sauces keep coming out of El Gringo. I'm sure there's going to be some more wines to pair with.
But who's bringing the breakfast burritos next time?
Right, next time.
All about breakfast wine, breakfast burritos.
We're in San Diego, so I'm going to pick up some
mimosas and burritos.
We'll do just like a sit down and just feast.
Fabulous breakfast brunch. I love it.
Pair with the wines.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming.
Cool, guys. Well,
cheers.
That was,
yes, cheers.
Thank you for joining us for Wine, Women, and Wisdom.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And comment. If you have any wine suggestion for me, just leave in a comment.
If you like what you saw today, please give to our Indiegogo campaign, Wine, Women, and Wisdom. See you next time.